Hi, this is David with the 4-Leaf Gear Company. We're out in Daniel Boone Conservation Area, Missouri Conservation Area here just north, a little northeast of Herman, Missouri. My son and I are out today, and we're going to take a little hike down into the valley, the Razor Hollow area again. I was down there a little bit earlier this year, had a little video you may have seen when it was a little bit colder. But we got a nice spring day today. We're going to get out, take a look around, see what we can see, maybe find a couple morel mushrooms while we're walking along, and just check out the woods, spend a little time out, try out some gear, and maybe pull out the 4-leaf stove later on and maybe cook up a good old-fashioned batch of ramen noodles. All right, well, we're going to get walking, and we'll come back and see you here in a bit. Some larger rocks exposed on the hillside here. Actually makes it a little nicer walking with the muddy trail. You got a little something more sure to get your feet on. Otherwise, this would be a little bit tricky. We got a little creek crossing here. Luckily it's not very deep, it's pretty shallow just running across that flat rock. But that is really pretty right there. Very pretty. My son Colin, he does not like being on video, obviously, but we're going to cross the creek here and follow along the creek for a little while until we head back up the ridge. So Colin's already beat me across. Try and do this without falling in. Okay, not too bad. The trail is a little moist today, to say the least. Yes, moist. Deer tracks. Alright, well that was a really pretty spot right there. We're going to keep on heading down the creek here for a little bit. Get back onto the trail. That was a little bit of a little side journey there. Only probably about 20 yards off the trail though. So we're gonna keep moving forward. Alright, we're kind of wandering along the creek here a little bit, trying to kind of just pick the easiest path. That was correct. We have found the trail back. It's definitely muddy. A lot of hopping and skipping, staying out of the mud holes down here. Looks like Colin found him a stool up here. A nice vine seat. So we're still walking through the creek bottom, back on in the area called Razor Hollow. It's a pretty easy hike right through this area. It's relatively flat because of the creek bottom. But we're getting ready to cross the creek again on our left and then start up the hill back up on, oh, there went some deer. There's still a few tails bouncing. Half went to the right, half went to the left. It looked like about 5. There's still some flags flying back there. Awesome. Watch this branch column, it's going to flip back. Alright, well I'm getting kind of winded, so I talked Colin into stopping here for a drink of water. You may recognize this spot. It's actually the same spot I stopped and shot some video when I was out here in February. I like the nice overlook we got here. Well, we had a little water break, bathroom break, and we're headed back up the hill. Alright, just taking a little break looking back downhill. Kind of leveling off a little bit. We got past the really steep part. We're still got a little elevation, but not too bad. See Colin up ahead. So we're going to continue on ahead here. Just up the ridge here in a little bit is the it's more or less a parking spot for horse trailer, but it's also dual purpose as a camp area. It's where I set up camp when I was out here in February. Yes, I am out of breath. I'm old, I'm overweight, out of shape. All right, well, we got up the ridge and we got to the campsite that I was mentioning. But actually, as we went past there were some other folks that must have had about the same idea. There was a family there that had a pop-up camper set up. And so we didn't want to intrude on them. So we just continued on the trail, kind of heading back alongside of the road. The trail kind of wanders alongside the road and I think crosses it up here somewhere in about another half a mile or so and heads to the right-hand side of the road where there's a few ponds, and I think it's a little more common to be horse trail over on that side. So we'll see if we decide to go ahead and follow the road just to make our way out of here. We'll find one of the little campsites along the way and just take a little break and take a little time to shoot some video of the stove. So talk to you in a little bit. All right, so with the assistance of Colin, I got him holding the map of the Daniel Boone Conservation Area here. And what we did was we started about right here at this parking lot campsite area, which is labeled as road or trail number 1223. What we did is we followed that ridge down, dropped back into the valley, followed the trail back down along the creek into this area right here, which, as I mentioned, is called the Razor Hollow Natural Area. I forgot the natural area part, but and then this is about the spot where we jumped those deer at. It's right in here. And then we started up the hill to the ridge, followed down to this other campsite, and we got there and found that there were people there. So right now we're following along the road, and we're kind of at this little point where it sticks out right here. And anyway, that distance that we covered from there to here on the GPS is showing, I don't know if that's going to focus or not, but it's about 2.94 miles that we've covered so far. So we're going to continue on. We're going to continue on at this point here and follow across the road and stop at one of these little campsites up here just a little bit further. All right, well, Colin and I decided to take a little break. I'm gonna go ahead and heat up some water and possibly have a little snack and maybe a cup of coffee. We're in a little campsite here, not too far from, there's a little like ranger station back in the woods back there, down that little road. And we're along the trail here. The trail is just over here in front of me. You can see a yellow sign over there. It actually says horse trail. And the one camp area here has a picnic table, so I thought I'd take opportunity to set up here and cook a little something. All right, so I have the stove assembled, and I also put together a windscreen. What I made this windscreen out of, it's actually aluminum 4-inch ductwork for like installing a new dryer in your home, a clothing dryer. And I just cut off a piece, and I basically just put two together, and it makes a real nice big circular piece, and it's held together. And it also, you know, you can take it apart and roll it up fairly tight. And anyways, I'm gonna put that windscreen over the stove here, and then I'm gonna take the cap off and get a fire going in this thing. Put some water in my camp pot here, and heat some water up and see if we can't have some ramen noodles and maybe a little bit of coffee or hot chocolate here just shortly. All right, well, I got the stove lit. I've got the windscreen around it, and I've got the billy pot on there, the camp pot, getting ready to heat up some water. I'm gonna go ahead and put the lid on it. It will definitely help capture a little more heat and help that water get hot faster. All right, I don't know if you can really see it on the video, but steam's starting to come out. All right, I think you can see the steam coming out of there now. It sounds to me like it's actually beginning to boil. I would almost say for certain that it is. I'm going to pull the windscreen off here so you can kind of see the stove in action there. It's the 4-Leaf Gear Company stove along with a Trangia mini alcohol spirit burner underneath there. All right, so we heated up that water, and we have a cup of hot chocolate here, and I was able to make a little bit of coffee, and we have a little pan of ramen noodles soaking that we're going to eat here in a minute. And that was all done, like I say, right here in the 4-Leaf Gear Company stove with a Trangia mini spirit alcohol burner. Actually, Trangia knockoff. I apologize. This is actually the Esbit brand one that I mentioned in my last video. But worked out real good. Using my camp pot, my billy pot style aluminum pot, and the windscreen, since it is a little windy out here today. Like I mentioned, it's made from 4-inch aluminum round snap together ductwork, and I just took 2 sections of it and basically just assembled them end to end to make more or less an 8-inch. That wouldn't be accurate to say 8, but put them together to make a windscreen that fits around the larger pot. So we're gonna enjoy this. Is probably cooled off enough now that we can actually eat it and drink it. So all right, well, we finished up drinking our drinks, and I ate those ramen noodles, and basically tore everything back down and put it all away, and just wanted to show everybody that this is kind of a larger than normal probably cookware for what a lot of ultralight backpackers or something might use, but I like something something a little more substantial. And you can see that the 4-Leaf Gear stove in its flat state with the other parts in here kind of separately, the triangle shaped food grate, and the multi-purpose disc is also down in here to the side. Can't really see it. This is just some olive oil I keep for keeping knives rust free and for a little cooking if necessary. And there's the Esbit alcohol stove right there. So that all packs in there real nicely, along with the windscreen is actually in here around the outside. You can see it. I kind of roll it up and make sure that it fits in there. This dish that I use to eat my ramen noodles in is actually like a Wilton brand. I don't know, it's like a mini pie or like a custard dish, something like that for baking. And it just happens to fit just about perfect on the bottom of there. So that's real nice and convenient. And then put the lid on and fold the handle down. Fold the butterfly handles in. And there's basically my entire cook kit right there. So it ends up being, I wouldn't call it compact by any means. I think it actually weighs quite a bit. It weighs pretty close to about 3 pounds, I think I weighed it earlier today. So, but I have a bag that I put that in. I'll put that back in the bag, and we're gonna pick up and continue on with our hike here. All right, well, I forgot to mention, just real minor, but I have a little bungee cord that I put across the handles, which is another reason I really like this, and it holds the lid on real well. And then I just have just a standard, real cheap, I think I picked up at Walmart, this Diddy bag that fits pretty well for this. Cinch that down, and basically all-inclusive kit has everything I pretty much need there. The little Crown Royal bag back behind it is actually my fire kit. And I have a little, a smaller diameter cookie tin in that with a bunch of items for starting fires. So what you see there on the table is really all I need for any kind of a cooking and fire starting. All right, well, we got all our stuff picked up from the picnic table back here, and we both had a hot drink and a little something to eat. Colin passed on the ramen noodles, but anyway, we're gonna get back on the trail and start heading back towards the truck. Alright, well, we resorted to walking on the gravel road. We had a pretty steep hill climb ahead of us, and the trail literally ran alongside the road anyway. So we opted for the easy way out. Just a little easier surface to walk on. And I think we're just going to continue on this gravel road until we get back to the truck. Alright, well, Colin and I have completed the loop. I can see the truck through the woods right there. And when I checked the GPS, it says we're just about back to our starting point. And it was basically about a 5.1 mile hike that we did. And we did that in about, around 4 hours or so, I guess. I'm not quite sure exactly what time we left the truck earlier. I know it was between noon and 1, I think. We're back to the truck. Colin and I made it.